The dog's name was Murphy, and he wouldn't leave Maya's side. Not unusual for a golden retriever. They're Velcro dogs, loyal to the point of being annoying. Follow you to the bathroom, lay on your feet while you cook, sleep with their head on your pillow because personal space is a concept they've never grasped. But this was different. Murphy had always been affectionate with the whole family, would greet Maya's husband Josh at the door with the same enthusiasm he showed Maya, would curl up with their daughter Emma during movie nights. He loved everyone equally, until he didn't. It started in March. Maya noticed Murphy had stopped following Josh and Emma around, stopped sleeping in Emma's room. Instead, he stayed with Maya, always. When she sat on the couch, he pressed against her legs. When she went to bed, he positioned himself beside her, his body aligned with hers, his head resting on her chest. "He's being clingy," Josh said. "Maybe he's not feeling well." They took Murphy to the vet. Full exam, blood work. Everything came back normal. The vet shrugged. "Sometimes dogs go through phases. He's healthy, probably just bonding more strongly with Maya." But it escalated. Murphy started pawing at Maya's abdomen, gently at first, then more insistently. He'd place his nose against her stomach and whine, low, worried, like he was trying to tell her something. "Stop it," Maya would say, pushing him away. "You're being weird." He'd wait 30 seconds and do it again. At night, Murphy would wake her up 3, 4 times, nudging her, pawing at her side. When she'd open her eyes, he'd be staring at her with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. Not aggressive, not playful, just focused, like he was trying to communicate something urgent and couldn't understand why she wasn't listening. "He's driving me crazy," Maya told Josh after 2 weeks of disrupted sleep. "I love him, but this is too much. Maybe we need a behaviorist." Josh called a dog trainer who specialized in behavioral issues. The trainer came out, spent an hour with Murphy, and left looking confused. "He's not anxious. He's not attention-seeking. He's not displaying any of the typical problem behaviors. If anything, he's hyper-focused on you specifically. Has anything changed in your routine? Your health? Your stress levels?" "Nothing," Maya said. "Everything's normal." But that wasn't quite true, because Maya had noticed something. Small. Easy to dismiss. For the past month, she'd been tired. More than usual. And her stomach had been off. Nothing dramatic, just a persistent sense of being slightly unwell. She'd assumed it was stress. Work had been busy. Emma was struggling in school. Normal life chaos. The trainer suggested keeping a journal. Document when Murphy's behavior intensified. Look for patterns. Maybe something was triggering him that Maya wasn't consciously aware of. Maya kept the journal for a week, and the pattern was clear. Murphy's behavior spiked in the mornings and late evenings. Specifically, he'd become agitated when Maya ate. He'd watch her intensely, and about 30 minutes after meals, he'd start the pawing behavior again. Focused on her lower abdomen, always the same spot. Right side, just below her rib cage. "That's where it hurts sometimes," Maya mentioned to Josh on day 8. "When I eat, not bad. Just uncomfortable." "How long has that been happening?" "I don't know. Month? 6 weeks?" Josh looked at Murphy. The dog was sitting at Maya's feet, staring up at her, tail still. "You should see a doctor. It's probably acid reflux. I'll get some Tums." "Maya, a dog is trying to tell you something is wrong. For 2 months, constantly. Maybe listen to him." She made an appointment. Her primary care doctor did an exam, felt her abdomen, asked about symptoms. Maya described the fatigue, the digestive discomfort, the vague sense of not feeling right. "Could be a lot of things. Let's run some blood work. If nothing shows up, we'll do an ultrasound just to be thorough." The blood work came back normal. Perfect, actually. So they scheduled the ultrasound for the following week. Maya went alone. Routine appointment. She'd be in and out in 30 minutes. Josh stayed home with Emma. Murphy threw an absolute fit when Maya tried to leave. Barking, something he never did. He tried to follow her to the car. When Josh held his collar, Murphy pulled so hard he was choking himself. "It's okay, buddy," Maya said through the window. "I'll be back in an hour." Murphy sat in the driveway and howled. The ultrasound took longer than expected. The technician was quiet, kept scanning the same area. right side, lower abdomen, exactly where Murphy had been pawing. "I need to get the doctor," the technician said. Her voice was too careful, too neutral. Maya felt ice in her chest. "What did you see?" "The doctor will explain. Just wait here." 20 minutes later, a doctor Maya had never met came in. She sat down, put the ultrasound images up on the screen. "Mrs. Chen, we found a mass in your liver, about 4 centimeters. We need to do more tests, but I'm ordering a CT scan and referring you to oncology." The word hung in the air. Oncology. Cancer? Maya's voice didn't sound like her own. "We don't know yet, but the mass is suspicious. The CT will give us more information. How long have you been experiencing symptoms?" 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. But they're mild, just tired. Some digestive issues. The doctor made notes. Liver tumors often don't cause symptoms until they're fairly advanced. You're lucky you caught this when you did. Most people don't know until it's much later. Maya drove home in a daze, walked through the door. Murphy was waiting. He didn't jump or bark or do any of the normal greeting behaviors. He just walked to her, pressed his head against her stomach, the right side, where the tumor was, and Maya broke down, slid to the floor. Murphy climbed into her lap, all 70 pounds of him, and pressed his body against hers, like he'd been trying to do for 2 months, like he'd known all along and had been desperately trying to tell her. The CT scan confirmed it. Hepatocellular carcinoma, liver cancer. Stage 2. Operable, but aggressive. Maya was in surgery within a week. They removed a section of her liver, got clean margins. The oncologist said if they'd waited another few months, it would have spread, would have been inoperable. "You're incredibly lucky," he told her. "Most patients don't catch liver cancer this early. There's usually no pain, no obvious symptoms. By the time people feel sick enough to see a doctor, it's often too late." Maya looked at Murphy. He was lying on the floor beside her hospital bed. Josh had snuck him in, against regulations, but the nurses had looked the other way. "I didn't catch it," Maya said. "My dog did." The oncologist raised an eyebrow. "Your dog?" Josh explained. 2 months of strange behavior. The pawing, the whining, the constant focus on Maya's abdomen, the exact spot where the tumor was. The oncologist listened. When Josh finished, he didn't laugh or dismiss it. He just nodded slowly. "There's actually research on this. Dogs detecting cancer. They're not entirely sure how it works. Some think it's scent. Tumors release volatile organic compounds that dogs can smell. Others think it's behavioral changes they pick up on. Changes in how we move or breathe or carry ourselves." "Murphy knew," Maya said. "He was trying to tell me and I kept ignoring him." "Well," the oncologist said, "you listened eventually. That's what matters." Maya recovered. 6 weeks of rest, 3 months of follow-up scans. Clear. 6 months. Clear. A year. Still clear. And Murphy went back to being a normal golden retriever. Greeted everyone at the door. Slept in Emma's room again. Stopped the obsessive pawing and whining. But Maya noticed something. Once a month, like clockwork, Murphy would come to her, press his nose against her abdomen, sniff carefully, and then walk away satisfied. "He's checking," Josh said, "making sure you're okay." Maya mentioned it to her oncologist at a follow-up appointment. He was fascinated, asked if he could document Murphy's behavior. "Study it." Maya agreed. 6 months later, at a routine scan, the oncologist saw something. A tiny spot, 2 millimeters. Could be nothing, could be scar tissue. But it was worth watching. That night, Murphy wouldn't leave Maya's side. Started pawing at her abdomen again. Same spot, same intensity. "He knows," Maya told Josh. "Something's wrong." They moved up her next scan. Did it a month early. The spot had grown. 4 millimeters now. Biopsy confirmed it. Recurrence. Caught so early it was almost microscopic. They treated it immediately. Targeted radiation. The tumor was eliminated before it could spread, and Murphy's behavior returned to normal. The oncologist wrote a paper about it. Canine detection of hepatocellular carcinoma. A case study. He presented it at a conference. Other doctors started paying attention. started asking their patients if they'd noticed unusual behavior in their pets before diagnosis. The stories came flooding in. A cat that wouldn't stop sitting on a woman's chest turned out to be breast cancer. A dog that kept licking his owner's mole, melanoma. A parrot that started plucking feathers from one specific area of his owner's scalp, skin cancer underneath. Animals detecting illness before humans could, before tests could, before symptoms became obvious. Maya's story went viral. News outlets picked it up. She did interviews. "Listen to your pets," she'd say. "They're trying to tell you things. If your dog or cat suddenly changes behavior, if they become fixated on a specific part of your body, don't dismiss it. Get checked." She started getting emails. Hundreds of them. People whose pets had saved their lives. People whose doctors had dismissed their concerns until a pet's behavior made them push harder for testing. One woman wrote about her dog who wouldn't let her walk downstairs, would block her path, whine frantically. Turned out she had a brain tumor affecting her balance. She would have fallen eventually. Could have died. The dog knew. Another man described his cat who started urinating on his pillow, always the same spot, right where he'd lay his head. Seemed like behavioral problems until he finally got an MRI. Brain aneurysm, right where the cat had been marking. The cat was trying to warn him. Maya and Murphy became advocates. They visited hospitals, talked to medical students. Murphy became a therapy dog, certified to work with cancer patients. And the patients would tell Maya the same thing over and over. "My dog tried to tell me. I wish I'd listened sooner." Murphy is 8 years old now, still healthy. Still monitoring Maya with his monthly check-ins. And the research has expanded. There are programs now, training dogs specifically to detect cancer, diabetes, seizures, heart conditions. The science is catching up to what pet owners have known for generations. Animals sense things we can't. They detect chemical changes, behavioral shifts, biological markers that exist before symptoms appear. Maya's liver has been clear for 4 years. Her prognosis is excellent, and every single day she thanks Murphy. Because without him, without his persistent, annoying, desperate attempts to communicate, she wouldn't have caught the cancer in time. "He saved my life," Maya tells people. "I thought I was taking care of him, feeding him, walking him, giving him a home. But really, he was taking care of me." Josh has a different perspective. Murphy didn't save Maya's life. He just did what dogs have always done. He protected his pack, warned us about danger. The only difference is that this time, the danger was inside her body instead of outside. But to Murphy, it was the same thing. A threat to his person, something that needed to be stopped. Emma, who's 13 now, has her own theory. "I think Murphy loves Mom so much that he'd do anything to keep her safe, even if it meant being annoying, even if it meant we didn't understand. He wasn't going to give up until we listened." Last month, Maya got her 5-year clear scan. The oncologist hugged her. "You beat the odds. 5-year survival rate for stage 2 hepatocellular carcinoma is about 60%. You're in the clear." Maya went home, told Murphy. He wagged his tail, pressed his nose against her stomach one more time, and then walked away to steal Emma's sandwich off the counter. Normal dog behavior, no more warnings, no more pawing, just a golden retriever being a golden retriever. Because Murphy's job was done, the threat was gone. Maya was safe. And sometimes, late at night, when Maya can't sleep, when the fear creeps in that the cancer might come back, she feels Murphy jump onto the bed, feels his weight settle beside her, feels his head rest on her chest, and she knows. If something were wrong, if the cancer returned, Murphy would tell her, he'd warned her twice already. He'd do it again. So she sleeps. Trusts the dog who knew the diagnosis before the hospital did. The dog who refused to be ignored. The dog who loved her enough to be annoying. The dog who saved her life by simply doing what dogs do best. Paying attention, caring deeply, and refusing to give up until the people they love are safe. Murphy didn't need medical training, didn't need expensive equipment, didn't need years of study. He just needed to love Maya. And he did. Enough to keep trying, enough to keep warning, enough to make sure she listened. before it was too late.